Buckle up. It's the Insurance Dudes Podcast.
Boom! Boom!
Boom!
There we go. Eric Kinneman.
Yeah.
Eric Kinneman. You know, here in the Insurance Dudes podcast, we have a special place for the lender dudes. Lender dudes. The Insurance Dudes love lender dudes because lender dudes can feed insurance dudes or starve them. So a lot of insurance dudes really try to crack the code on how to connect with insurance dude or with lender dudes. So Eric Kinneman, welcome to the Insurance Dudes.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, Craig, we got a new lightning round for Eric.
Just like that. We're just going to jump into it. Let's do
just
it.
Jump into it.
Jump into it. Okay, so the new lightning round is just to break the ice and get things going. You are going to answer as quickly as possible. I'm going to read these questions as fast as possible, and we'll see if we can make this happen. So, oh, good idea. I'm going to take a little. Everybody, take your sips.
Oh yeah.
And if you have a coffee mug, take that. Okay. Here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
To play
I'm ready.
Speed Breakers.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Have you ever had a mullet?
Yes.
First crush?
Year or name?
Either.
Her name was Summer. I was in 6th grade. What's that, 1984?
Nice. Most embarrassing thing your mom ever caught you doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Fastest speed ever driven?
122 mile an hour.
Favorite cereal?
Fruity Pebbles.
How many kids?
2.
Have you made cry?
102.
Count Chocula or Count Dracula?
Count Chocula.
Good choice. Fastest mile?
650.
Ooh. Favorite flavor?
Vanilla.
Look at that. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
There was only one right answer to that. Tacos or burritos?
Tacos.
And then Trump or Biden? No, you don't have to answer that question.
Trump.
So, okay. All right. Well, welcome. You're the first guy to make it through the Speed Breakers round. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. It's kind of fun. So here, I'll run through a little bit on you. Eric Kinneman, wife Amy, Ryder and Reagan.
Yes.
Look at that. Ryder's 2. Was that right?
13.
Born in 2000 or 13. 2 kids. I see. And daughter born in 2012. Awesome. So you like hiking, canyoneering. You and I are on Facebook together, so I see all these places that you go to the top of, and you've hit a lot of famous peaks.
Yes.
Around the world, huh?
In the United States.
In the U.S. Okay.
It's a lot
okay. So, but I see it's funny because a lot of people are afraid to fly right now.
Yeah.
And if you're listening in 2045, there was this whole thing where we had to wear masks and it was crazy. But now, enjoy those flights. But he's flying all over the place when a lot of people are afraid to. So that's awesome. You've been in the loan business since 1999.
Yes, sir.
Where you party like it's 1999. And it's awesome to have you here. Eric Kinneman, welcome to the Insurance Dudes.
Thank you kindly. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So walk us through that experience. I know you took a leap of faith in order to jump into this business. What were you doing before?
So I was in air conditioning sales. So I moved out here from Pennsylvania in 1996. Got into air conditioning sales almost immediately, which was interesting because I had never been in sales prior, when I lived in Pennsylvania. And it wasn't long before I was the, salesman of the month. But I was on this late shift. So I would come in at like noon. I'd work till like 9, 10 o'clock at night. And this janitor dude, he would come in, me and this janitor dude ended up making friends. Well, this janitor dude ended up owning this janitorial service. And he's the one to say, hey, man, I listen to you every night. I'm in here cleaning the place. You're good with people. You're good with numbers. Let me introduce you to some broker guy. I'm like, I don't know. Okay, whatever. I didn't know what type of broker, insurance broker, stock. I didn't know. So set up an interview the following week. Ended up being a mortgage broker, and the guy hired me on the spot. And I didn't know what that meant. I had no idea. I just was like, hey, the window's opened. I'm jumping through it, and I did. And didn't look back. Within 3 months, I was the manager of that office I was employed at, and that was 1999, man. And been making a killing since.
Awesome. So now you've gone through two big bubbles.
Oh yeah. So, the housing bust right in 2008, but which was preceded by the boom in 2005, right? The subprime, right? The subprime era, you fogged the mirror, you got a loan. And, which is interesting because people try to put that in comparison to where we're at today. And I'm like, man, this is no comparison. I mean, like we are, 2005 on steroids right now. The only difference is, you actually have to qualify for a home loan, but it's 2005 on steroids. The demand is so high and the supply is so low. It's ridiculous. And I don't think most people truly understand that. They think that this bubble is going to pop. Oh, it's going to pop and housing values are going to decline. I'm like, dude, that's not in the future. Not at least in the Phoenix metropolitan area. That's nowhere near in the future. Maricopa County is the #1 migrated county in the United States. People don't understand that. They're projecting 100,000 people coming from California alone this year, right? I mean, it's like, as long as people keep moving here, the demand goes higher, and the supply goes lower. There's no end in sight. I mean, as a matter of fact, they're saying in the next 5 to 10 years, we could be a high cost living area, which wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we're 4th, 5th largest city in the nation, toggling back and forth from Philadelphia. And, so it's like, at some point, we're going to end up being like this high cost living area. It's inevitable. So I just don't think people are real with themselves and they think there's going to be a pop here in the Phoenix metro area.
Right. Especially when California falls into the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, then imagine the property values.
Exactly.
Jason's out there. Yeah. So he's in California.
Yeah. I'm curious. I know that those were some crazy times that you've been through. It must have been difficult to start in the mortgage industry. I dabbled back when people were scamming people. I literally worked for this lender for a month, and they were refinancing old people's loans and just scamming people left and right. And I was like, I'm out of here. It was really bad. Luckily, I did find out a few years later when the bubble did burst that they were out of business. So that was good.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was thrown to the wolves. It was, a time of those big giant monitors, right? We didn't really have like laser printers yet. We were still doing things on typewriter. It was kind of like the era when the typewriter was starting to get phased out. So it was that we had the auto dialers. You remember the auto dialers, or am I dating myself? Those auto dialers that would just dial people when they were legal. Just dial people and tell them about, hey, we can refinance your rate at 7%. It's amazing.
Woo!
Right? And they would generate leads. I'd come in the next morning and I would call the leads but it was definitely thrown to the wolves. There was hardly any training. So it was, sink or swim. And I remember the first couple of months thinking to myself, wow, I might not make this. But then I got my first funding. First paycheck was like 75 days in. And I'm like, I can deal with this. I made one, a month's income in one check. I'm like, I think we can make this work.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so different than our side. Like on our side of it, it's massive amount of transactions with little tiny amounts of commissions.
Yeah.
That's, so it's a whole different type of funnel. You just need to get 1 or 2 or 3 and you're okay. Right. Yeah. Or I know as long as you scale, probably you need more than a couple, but Definitely. So at that beginning, it was, I love the whole lead funnel and how that works. Like, so you got the leads, then what did you do? Like, you call them, how many times are you calling them? How's that all working?
Well, everybody kind of has their own system, and I was a firm believer on, 4 times, and I would move on, because there's leads, leads were in abundance. So I would make the initial call, make sure I'm calling in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening. And, email was prevalent then, it was starting up. So if they had an email address, then we would email them as well. But it would, we would definitely call morning, lunchtime, and then evening, right? We'd hit those time frames, and we'd be moving on. And back then, like I said, people were open to those cold calls and those auto dialers. Today it's the biggest sham in history, but back then it was different. So, my closure rate was, 10%, which is unheard of. Like, you ain't getting 10% on anything nowadays. I mean, 1 to 2%, maybe 3% if you find the magic sauce, right? Back then, the auto dialers were 10%.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward to now, what does that landscape look like for somebody coming into that business? And then what's a great way for agents like us to connect with loan officers like you?
So it's changing, this industry is changing. Unfortunately, it's becoming watered down. There are fewer and fewer people like me, the old schoolers, if you will, 21 years in this industry, that have built, our own business, our own real estate agents, our own sphere of influence, our own network. We go out, we shake hands, we kiss babies, we do luncheons, we meet for coffee, we talk about our kids, that is almost a thing of the past. The newer system is to get these young kids, these 20-some-year-old snowflakes, and to put them in a cubicle, right, and hand them a prompt to read and feed them these bullshit leads they get from Realtor.com or OpCity or Commissions Inc. or wherever they're getting their leads with 1 to 2% conversion rates. And that's all they're doing, is they've converted them into a salesman, right? And they've taken the craftsmanship out of it. And that's what sucks for people like us, is like, we're true craftsmen. We know our guidelines. We know the industry right inside and out. We don't just know how to sell. That's just one facet of what it should be. But these big teams, these big companies, right, the Cardinal Financials of the world, they've turned into these call centers, these direct, approach to consumers. And all they rely on is training somebody to answer a phone 172 times a day, right? Because, the numbers, you're going to pull down 3 deals out of that. And it just becomes something different. And it's not my cup of tea. Look, it works well. I know a lot of teams, it works well for them. But like my team, I manage 8 loan officers, and they're all, mid 40s to 60 years of age. They've all been in the industry 20, 30 some years. So they're all old schoolers. They all, they don't do the cold calling and the lead gen. Now, with that said, I will invest in lead gen once or twice a year, because I always get, oh, you don't understand, we got the magic sauce. Yeah, okay. You know how many times I've heard that in 21 years? Okay, I'll throw a couple $1,000s at it per month for the next, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and to see if it's true. And in 21 years, it hasn't been true. Example, I just got off of OpCity, which is Realtor.com. When OpCity bought Realtor.com out, or vice versa, right? Did 6 months, $2,000 a month, and me and 2 other LOs, we worked those leads rigorously. You get a text message, right? And the first one to hit the link gets the incoming call, right? So they patched, the call directly to you. The problem with that is it's the same old. It is warmer, but it's still a cold lead, right? And when you're when you're acclimated to dealing with your real estate agents, like, Eric, hey, I got, Johnny Miller. He wants you to call him at 3:00 because that's when he gets his break. He needs pre-approved. I'm taking him out tonight to show homes. We need a pre-qualified. That, you know what I mean? That's the hottest lead that you can get is from your real estate, from your realtor. So it's so different, Craig, in that perspective. But like I said, we will try occasionally to throw the mud against the wall, see if it sticks, to see if there is something else out there that actually works. And out of those 6 months, so where I was going, out of those 6 months, we closed 2 leads. So $2,000 a month, it cost me $12,000, right? So, with the commission I make, off of, giving it to the LOs, I almost broke even.
That's discouraging.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's funny that you it mimics exactly what's going on in the insurance world. I mean, you have the old schoolers where the relationships were very, very tight relationships. I mean, family members went to the same guy, and friends of friends. It was very hands-on. And now, call centers are coming in. Even the large captive carriers are building their own call centers. So now there's this like sports car, let's just drive as fast as we can, throw it all against the wall, let's pull as much in as we can, as fast as we can kind of mentality, which mimics exactly what you're saying. I have a question though. Do you think that there is room for a hybrid of that somehow?
I do. Here's the missing sauce. And it's funny, I was on a call yesterday with the branch managers at my company. So it's a dozen or 14 of us, across the country. And the market's shifting. And as long as it continues to keep shifting in the arena of having loan originators have access, reasonable, cost-effective access to the NMLS or the MLS, that's going to change. Because what do we know about real estate agents? They're terrible with their follow-ups, right? And like some of it's reasonable and understanding because look, they're showing homes at 6 and 7 and 8 o'clock at night and on the weekends, right? So they just don't have the same capacity to do great follow-up with the leads or that come in, right? So if we can shift this to give lenders MLS access, better, cheaper, cost-effective MLS access, you're going to start seeing the game change. And look, Ox City and Realtor.com have tried to implement that hybrid program. That's why I went in and tried to do it, and we closed 2, which is better than the last time. The last time I closed 0. So right, it's a little bit better. But if we can get those leads, if we can get the hot Zillow, the hot Realtor.com, prospective buyer coming to the lender first, and then we distribute it to the realtor, that's where it needs to be, because we will take better care of them. We will have better CRM programs, drip programs. We have the better tools to do those things.
It's so interesting because like this whole like connection between insurance dudes, realtor dudes, and lender dudes and dudettes is very interesting, right? Because they can feed you, you can feed us, and then there's some, I don't know, it's just like some kind of thing. There's something to that, and building out like a real strong strategy around those 3 relationships. Because I don't think that the realtor sending it to the agent is right, because really the next step is get the money. Those people don't want to deal with it. They don't want to talk to an insurance person right now. That's a pain in the ass, right? And then they went, now they need their money. So they go there, you guys get the file and you start doing your thing. And you don't want to deal with the insurance. You just want to be able to check it off. So once you have somebody you can trust, you're like, I'll get you over to Craig. He'll handle it, and boop, done, right? You know that it's handled. And so, I mean, it's so interesting how that all works. And I don't even know that there's a question there.
No, there kind of is, because it's, the lenders that really dive into those leads, right? Those Realtor.com leads, they get a lot of first-time home buyers, right? So the more first-time home buyers you get as a lender, the more of a propensity you have to be able to give that lead to an insurance agent. You know, that's just how it naturally works. You're a first-time home buyer. The odds are likely you need help with insurance, or at least a second quote, right?
Sure.
When you're dealing with refinances and more of your sophisticated buyers, and some of them take it very personally. You know, especially your veterans. I've had USAA for 44 years. Oh. Right?
That's what they do.
Right? You know, so it's like, I've learned to like, okay, you know, okay, that's off the top. We're not talking about that. I get it.
The USAA is in its own league of marketing. Like, they have created the club, right? And everybody wants to be in a club. They made their tribe. Everybody's down that's with it. I get we talk about this all the time with ClickFunnels and all this other stuff, but like marketing wise, like they have done a phenomenal job of brand loyalty, because they do that. That's exactly what they say. I've been with them before. Don't even talk to me about it. You know, it's crazy.
And even if the quote comes in, I've seen it's $1,400 and it should be at somewhere between $700 or $900. It's like, if I say something, you know, I could get the borrower pissed off at me tremendously, because that's happened in the past. So I've learned that hard way. Like, if I feel I can gingerly approach it, I will. But if I don't, I'm like, dude, you know, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to handle.
Yeah.
So referring to insurance agents as getting to be slim pickings, I would say, right?
It is. And and anytime I get a first-time home buyer, like I feel excited, because like I know I have a chance of giving a referral to an insurance agent.
Nice.
Seriously, it's like it's because, I mean, I have to tell you, you know, as much as we rely on real estate agents to getting referrals from them, it really feels good when I can call an agent and be like, hey, dude, I got a buyer for you, dude. Dude, that feels so good. You know, it really does.
Yeah.
Have you ever had an agent approach you with leads and asked to do some sort of partnership?
To be continue.
Hey, Jason.
Yes, Mr. Craig.
That was another awesome episode, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if people want to get a little bit more action and learn how to write 100,000 in premium off of even the worst internet leads, where could they go?
They can go to live.teledudes.com.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. Are we going to be there?
Yes, it's a weekly call that we're doing right now. It's live, and it will show you the process. The entire process is super awesome.
I love it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Sign up right now. Live.teledudes.com.
Live.teledudes.com. That's live.teledudes.com.
Hey, Craig, there's a new community that we are starting that I cannot wait to tell everybody about. It is our live texting community, where you and I are going to answer people's questions and give them free content, right?
Are you kidding me? We get to talk to them?
Yeah, which is awesome, but they have to opt in. They have to text us at 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
Nice.
Craig, are you going to respond to these texts?
I'm going to respond to them for sure. Live.
I'm into it too. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be our new texting community, where we're going to get back to everybody that we can and drop some crazy content, free content, and free the calculator that you just came up with. That's right. The calling calculator, sales material. I mean, everything for insurance agents. This is it. It's the best texting community out there for insurance agents.
Well, what the heck is that number again? I can't remember it.
It's 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
I love it. I'm going to text it right now.
520-214-2219.
All right. I'll see you later, Mr. Jason.
Bye, Mr. Craig.
Wait, do they even listen to this on the radio anymore?
I love it. I love it.
Nice.
All
right.